This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Let's see who has it. Minnesota!
Welcome to Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck on the Gopher Sports Network from Learfield.
To the 10, to the 5, touchdown, pick 6.
Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck is presented by True North Family of Companies. Visit thetruenorthfamily.com. Also brought to you by Cub, the official grocer of Gopher Athletics. And by Tipsy Steer in High Pines, located at County Road C in Snelling. Proud sponsor of Gopher Football.
Here we go!
Now, here's the voice of the Gophers, Mike Grimm.
And we're off and running. Welcome to another edition, a Tuesday edition of Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck. We are back on location, Tipsy Steer in High Pines in Roseville, and glad to have you along. JG has his own personal cheering section over here, and it's a full restaurant as usual. Good to see everybody looking good here, and we are going to talk Gopher football for the next hour on the Gopher Sports Network. It's homecoming week. We'll preview that. Purdue coming to town under the lights. 6:40 technically is the kickoff time. And we will take air this weekend at 4:30. JG, as always, good to see you. You survived the Ohio State sidelines.
I did, yeah. No security breaches this time. My favorite security officer and I got along really well,
nice.
So we were good. Yeah, everything's fine.
Outstanding. Well, it wasn't the best of nights, I guess, for the Gophers. 42-3. That opening drive, though, Coach, was an impressive one. 7 for 7 for your quarterback, and you got points right off the bat.
Yeah, we'll just talk about the first drive the whole hour. I think we should do that. Then just keep bringing it up. We'll talk a little bit more about it. But, yeah, I thought we really started fast. That was the whole game plan. Come out, start fast. Had them in a lot of different coverages, and I thought Drake and Coach Harbaugh and our offense dissected their defense really well. And then they went back to the sideline, put a lot of people in the box, stopped the run, and then played man coverage from there on out. And we weren't able to create enough separation and give Drake enough time. So you got to give them a lot of credit. I wanted to go back through the film. I said this earlier this week that I wanted to go back through the film and be like, oh, we played like crap. We stunk. It was really awful. We beat ourselves. We really didn't. We had 2 penalties. That's it. We did not turn the ball over. We only gave up 1 sack. But at the end of the day, I mean, they're a really good football team. And that's one of the best football teams that I've ever seen in 13 years being a head football coach. And I always give credit where credit's due. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I said that about Michigan that year, that when Michigan beat us with Jim Harbaugh, I said that was the best team that we faced. They won the national championship, and this is the defending national championship champion. So you got to give them a lot of credit. But I thought our guys played incredibly hard all the way through 60 minutes, and just wasn't our night.
What did they look like in person as opposed to when you watch on the film? Kind of mirror those two for us.
Yeah, I mean, they have all the length in the world, the strength, the size, the depth. They're 2-3 deep at every position. There is no holes to their offense, defense, or special teams. There isn't. There's no flaws, right? Because in this world, you can go out and recruit and NIL and portal and buy a player in that spot, and they're really good at doing what they do. Just look at their right tackle. He used to be our right tackle, and he's a tremendous football player and did a great job on our guys. So, but they were as good as advertised in person. We said we were going to be bold. We were going to be aggressive, and I thought we were. We took the lead, then got a stop, and unfortunately had a punt on the third drive, on the second drive, and then the third drive they scored. So it's unfortunate that the score got to where the score was, but when you look at the film, you wouldn't necessarily think that except for a few explosive plays. But they're able to dissect you pretty quickly. And when we did go man coverage, they ran by us and had to throw the ball down the field. So we knew that was going to happen. We had to limit as much as it happened, but unfortunately, they were able to score almost at will.
Yeah, and we mentioned the talent that they have. I mean, there's guys that are going to be first-round picks, second-round picks. Like, when you look at the film, almost everybody at some point, depending on when they decide to move on off that roster of starters, is going to be an NFL draft pick, and those receivers are certainly first-round picks. I mean, Tate has world-class speed, and that doesn't mention Smith, who might be the best in the country, probably is the best receiver in the country.
Yeah, there's maybe the first pick overall in the draft and maybe a top 15 pick at wideout. So, and then They also have a tight end that's a high draft pick, and all their offensive linemen could be high picks. And they're very old and experienced, and they're really talented. They got a lot of really good players. I thought the quarterback played really, really well. But we didn't do a lot to disrupt them. We couldn't get enough pressure on them, whether we blitzed, and that was the whole deal. We couldn't get to them with 4. And then if we did blitz, then we were going to leave holes and gaps in the coverage. And if they did pick it up, they were going to be able to get some shots. So, our guys played incredibly hard. I'm really proud of them. There are no moral victories at all, nor am I saying this is a moral victory, but you got to look at the positives in that performance when you get beat 42-3. And like I said, I thought that they just beat us. Pound for pound better than us on that particular day, and they didn't make any mistakes. I told you we had 2 penalties, 0 turnovers, 1 sack, but they played almost perfect. And if we were going to wait for Ohio State to make all these mistakes, they're the number 1 team in the country for a reason and the defending national champions, and we were going to have to play and play really, really well, get some takeaways, which we didn't get. And it was going to have to go our way that way.
From a standpoint, early, you mentioned that you guys had the nice success. I think Drake was 7 for 7 on that drive. And then they did some different things. They went man, all that stuff. And then the passing game I think you threw 13 passes in the first quarter, 6 in the second, and then just 4 in the third and only 3 in the last quarter. Take me through how that all unfolds as the game is what it is and the scoreboard is what it is, and your philosophy on trying to get through half 2 and the passing game going away.
We only had the ball 3 minutes in the third quarter.
Right.
So that's one drive. And that's basically sums it up, right? And if we don't execute that, you're in a punting situation, and they just continue to march the ball down the field. So, you look at it, and it's always 3 different things when you don't win. Is it the personnel? Is it the coaching? Or is it the scheme? And you look at all 3 of those things, and you want to be able to pull all that off. But there are some times, I told our team in the locker room, and I wasn't very happy. I hate losing. We're going in there to win the football game.
Right.
We're at a point that's where I want our players' mind. But sometimes you get into a fight and you get beat up. And you got to respond to that fight. That's what football's about. This is a violent sport, and sometimes you're on the short end of that fight, and we were. And our guys are going to respond this week, and I feel very confident about that. Had a really good day of practice today. They came in with the intentionality of getting way better on Sunday, which I appreciate, and they had great humility in doing it. And I thought they represented us in a first-class fashion. So besides the loss, there's a lot of great things to pull from that.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Sunday, because we've talked about Sundays on this show for a long time. When you say, it didn't go, how anybody wanted it to go on Saturday, but you don't want them coming in, defeated by it or beaten by it, because you do have to move on, right? You've got another handful of games through the rest of the season. So what was your approach Sunday, maybe after you went back and watched the film and watched it and everything?
Yeah, Sunday, you can't tell whether we win or lose when you come in on Sunday, because I never want it to be result-oriented in terms of the teaching, education, and response. Whether you win or lose, Sunday is about growth, period. So when you came in on Sunday, it was very natural for our players to come in. I think guys were disappointed, and you want them disappointed. When you care and you put so much work in it, it's a zero-sum game. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. You pour a ton of effort in, but so did Ohio State. And just because you put in effort doesn't mean that you're going to win. It doesn't mean you're going to play well. It doesn't mean you're not going to play well. But on Sundays are for the growth and the response, and I thought our guys did a tremendous job coming in with the intentionality of growth and getting better. And I thought they definitely did that.
You mentioned this yesterday during your news conference in regard to Darius Taylor. He got back in some game action, which certainly was good to see. Sounds like he was on a bit of a pitch count, depending on how the game unfolded, and I'm sure how he felt and what the doctors thought. Much of that is out of the coach's control. So talk us through what that was like Saturday, and just monitoring when and how often he could play. And 2, and I know you don't talk a lot about the health of the players, but how is he looking for the approaching week?
He looks really good. Our medical staff handles whether he will play or not on Saturday. I don't have. It's not like I have some. I don't have any control of that. The doctors and the training staff does. But he was on a pitch count. It wasn't going to be. Hey, here's how many plays. It's a workload. And it's a number that is based on the catapult of what he's ready for. And so we knew we wouldn't have him for the full game and the full entirety, but we were going to use him as much as we possibly could. Especially we were going to space it out depending on how the game went. And being down 14-3 pretty quick, we had to use a lot of that workload in the first half. So, but I'm really thankful that he got a chance to get out there and some game experience coming off of that injury. Medical staff's done a really good job of him. So trending upwards.
Yeah, and I thought he looked pretty good against a team that just doesn't give up many rushing yards.
No, they're really stout. They're really good, athletic, long. But I think he's coming back in a progressive way, in a positive way. He's got a great mindset. He works his tail end off, works in the training room. They're really, really talented. And again, they're giving up 4.5 points a game.
They've allowed 2 touchdowns, 2 in 5 games, right?
It's incredible.
It's amazing.
I mean, it's until you experience it, right? You're like, oh, I think I told Gary we scored 3 on the opening drive, and we were joking around because he was like, man, I thought definitely we're going to get more than 10.
Yeah.
Like you're starting to think that maybe we'll be the first team to score double digits on them, but that's kind of how it works. And they do a lot of different stuff. They never play the same front back to back. They're mixing up coverages, putting you in different types of man and cover 2 and going in and out of it. They got a nickel playing on the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden ball snap, he's running to the half of the field playing deep half. You can do that when you have that type of personnel as well. And they're very good, very skilled, and they're very disciplined. To do as much as they do and still be disciplined, it's a credit to them and the coaching staff.
One quick follow-up, too, on Darius. Just in general terms, I don't know what his percent will be, but when he is 100%, how does that change what you guys want to do? And I know you have good depth at running back, and you like the other guys too, but he is pretty special running back.
I mean, your best players are your best players. Nothing can take that away from being your best player. You can have depth, you can have solid players, you can have guys that are going to do really well, but there's a reason Darius Taylor's Darius Taylor. We don't have 5 Darius Taylors. There's some schools that do. We have 1 Darius Taylor, and if our best player on offense isn't in there, of course that affects you. It's up to us to find creative ways to get the ball to different people and to be really smart with the football and efficient. But he is somebody who can change a game by touching the football, and that's what the NFL is all about, with playmakers, and that's what really good college football teams are about. And when they have great playmakers, it makes things a lot easier. So, of course, he's missed. Guys have done a great job stepping into those roles and really stepping in and stepping up and doing a really good job. But he's a phenomenal football player, and whenever we get him back, we'll be thankful to have him.
All right, let's take our first break. We'll look at homecoming coming up. Lots to talk about. A bunch of former players coming back. It's become a pretty cool tradition here in recent years. We also want to thank alumni-owned Sunbelt Business Advisors, part of the True North family of companies. They should be on your team roster if you're selling a business. Get your no-cost, confidential business valuation today. Visit sunbeltminnesota.com. They have their table here. Thank you for your support. And let's take a break. This is Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck from Learfield.
Dear crew, it's Toyota. With an adult-sized third row, everyone's welcome in the Grand Highlander. From sports fans to eco-buffs and movie fans. Sink back in the Sienna with an available rear seat entertainment system. Slip into the RAV4 with available all-wheel drive. And let's go. Toyota. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Minnesota football returns to Huntington Bank Stadium for a homecoming stripeout on October 11th, hosting the Purdue Boilermakers. Choose your section and lock in your seats at gophersports.com.
Spring cleaning is as easy as buy, fill, gone with a Bagster bag from Waste Management. Clear the clutter and ditch your debris. Bagster bags are the flexible option for big cleanups, and we mean flexible. The Bagster folds neatly when not in use, yet holds 3,000 pounds of waste and debris. Buy from a retailer today, fill it, and easily schedule pickup when your projects are complete. To learn more, visit thebagster.com.
The human heart. It doesn't take days off, or hours, minutes, or seconds for that matter. It just keeps beating in steadfast, unrelenting service to each of us. So when your heart needs medical care, doesn't it deserve the most advanced treatments available, delivered by nationally recognized physicians and surgeons? Show your heart some love. Take it to mHealth Fairview. Visit mhealthfairview.org/heartcare to learn more.
Are you looking for concert or sports tickets? As a local Minnesota company, Ticket King is a company you can trust. They have seats to fit every budget and even offer parking or tailgating passes, and all tickets are guaranteed. Each order is personally attended to by one of our dedicated customer service representatives who are committed to providing you with a courteous, professional, quick, convenient experience. Visit us at ticketkingonline.com or call us directly at 612-341-4131.
Gopher fans, when you want to get around Gold Country safely, securely, and on time, call Carey Minneapolis-St. Paul. Carey Limousines, a global leader in business travel, offering a world-class fleet and reservation staff who make sure you arrive on time, every time. The team's available 24/7, so give them a call whenever you're ready to travel. 612-623-0565 or visit the webpage, CareyMPLS.com. And go Gophers!
I'm Clay Geary, former wide receiver for the Minnesota Gophers.
And I'm Ben Utek, U of M alumni, Super Bowl champion, and Tony Dungy Uncommon Award winner.
We understand championship culture, which is why we are part of the True North family of companies.
True North invests in only elite teams, like the champion team at True North Mergers and Acquisitions, Minnesota's largest seller of companies. To learn more about True North and our diverse family of independently owned companies, visit thetruenorthfamily.com.
Gopher fans, check out the spot for Gopher Weekly with PJ Fleck. The Tipsy Steer in High Pines in Roseville is a great place to watch the games with a large outdoor space to eat, drink, and hang out with your friends. Check this place out. Locally owned refreshing beverages and food sourced from area farmers, serving on menu favorites like bacon lollipops and armadillo eggs. The sassy menu also features brick oven pizzas and acclaimed burgers. Tipsy Steer in High Pines in Roseville, County Road C and Snelling in Roseville, or online at tipsysteer.com. Go Gophers!
The game against Rutgers on September 27th recognized the 13th annual Celebrate Ag and Food Day at Huntington Bank Stadium. Both the game broadcast and the presentation inside the stadium celebrated the tireless efforts in the agriculture industry. The Gophers would like to thank the following participating sponsors: Ag Country Farm Credit, Minnesota Biofuels Association, Minnesota Corn Growers Association, Minnesota Pork Board, and the University of Minnesota's College of Food, Agricultural, and Natural Resource Sciences for their continued support.
Golden Gopher football is celebrating homecoming with a stripe out. Join us on October 11th against Purdue and help stripe the bank. For tickets and more information, go to gophersports.com.
No matter who you are or what you do, there's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day. Make life on the go a walk in the park with the new Ford Explorer. Become the MVP of the work site with the unrivaled performance of a new built Ford Tough F-Series truck, the best-selling trucks in America. Or discover what it really means to adventure in the great outdoors with the new Bronco Sport. Whether it's for work or play, there's a Ford with a great deal waiting at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford today. Based on calendar year total sales.
It's time now for the AVR Remix on Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck. AVR, a McNamara company. Quality and service delivered.
Lindsey on a straight drop on 2nd and 9. Looking right, fires over the seam. Caught at the 30 and down to the 28. Jamison Gears caught it in front of the nickelback Lorenzo Stiles. And a beautiful pickup, and what a strike from the redshirt freshman. The drive stalls, and now Brady Denneberg, who on the year is 5 of 7. This will be a little bit of a chip shot, and the kick is up, and it is good from 27 yards and a nice opening drive. There it is, the AVR Remix, sponsored by our friends at AVR. And let's get back to it. Welcome back. It's Gopher Football Weekly. The Tipsy Steer in High Pines. Mike Grimm along with Justin Gard, and the head coach is PJ Fleck. Great crowd here as always. Finishing touches on Ohio State, then homecoming, and a lot to talk about with Purdue. 6:40, as we mentioned, the kickoff will take air at 4:30. Let's talk about the offensive line. You shifted a few guys up front, and then had some in-game subs as well. And I know you're mixing and matching and trying to find the right combo. Can you take us through that a little bit?
Yeah, I think that, when you look at what we've done offensively and going into that game plan of what their defensive line looked like in the front seven, we felt like we had to shuffle some things up just to give us the best advantage to protect Drake. And I thought Coach Callahan and Coach Harbaugh did a really good job of that based on their personnel. It wasn't like matching personnel, but we wanted to make sure that our edges were really secure because I think Greg Johnson is, as we continue to move, he's a really good player. He can play tackle. If we ever get in a pinch, he can go to the tackle. I thought it was a great opportunity to move him to left tackle, take Nathan to right tackle, and shuffle around just the guards. And I thought that we were able to get what we want out of it. We're going to continue to have those guys keep battling and fighting and competing because I think we've got 3 other guys besides four guys that are solid that can continue to compete and can continue to raise the level of our offensive line play. So in a perfect world, you'd love to be able to have 5 guys, but we don't live in a perfect world. So we got 7 guys, but what is the right combination? And it might be week to week as we keep looking at that. But, we put a lot of attention into it, that's for sure.
What have the challenges been short yardage for you this year? We talked about it, I think, at halftime of the Rutgers game where you had the 3rd and 1, ended up a 4th and 1, didn't get it. You obviously had the 4th and 1 here. It's good to go for it, right? You're down 14-3. You want to pick up that yard. Every coach always says, we got to get 4th and 1 if we go for it. What have the challenges been for you there?
Yeah, we haven't got it. Those are the challenges. We haven't got a few of them, and you're never going to be perfect. I mean, that's why it's a little bit of a gamble and a risk. But I'm going to be bold and aggressive in those situations. I feel like we should be able to execute a 4th and 1. I think getting whenever he comes back, getting a healthy Darius back could help. Look at the 4th and 1. I mean, they did a good job of getting some knockback. We're right off the shelf, but there is no shelf. And so Darius did all he could to run his feet and get the yard, but we weren't able to do it. And Rutgers, we weren't able to get it. So our guys have identified it. They know it. Part of changing is knowing what you're not executing and why you're not executing it. So it's just the fundamental technique and going to get the hard yards. So it's a combination of O-line, tight ends, running backs, and then schematically, we've got to find some other ways to be able to get some short yardage stuff as we keep moving forward, which we will. So, but you know me, I like to put the ball down, be really aggressive, and go get a yard. And that's what football's about. And that's our mentality. So if we're able to do it, we'll do it. If we're not able to do it, we have to find a different way of doing it because I don't want to change that belief system.
We hear this often in short yardage, too, and I just ask. I don't have any thoughts either way on it. You've, I think, lined up under center maybe more this year than you have in the past. Some of those short yardage situations, though, have not been under center. They've been just out of the pistol or the gun or whatever you want to call it. What's a philosophy on that? Because you hear some people say, well, now you're getting the ball deep in the backfield on short yardage. Why don't you just get your 6'4" guy quarterback and get him under center and push him, which you guys did some of that last year. So how do you look at just strategically from a 4th down and short or 3rd down and short? What's the best way to get that yard?
Well, if it was easy, every 4th down in the National Football League and college football
would be converted.
There'd be 100% conversion rates on 4th down. Everybody'd be 10 of 10 on 3rd down, and it'd be just lovely.
And last year you guys were like 10 of 12 or something.
I know,
crazy
but
percentage.
just because we did it last year doesn't mean we're going to be good at it. You know what I mean? This year. So every team's a little bit different. I thought I thought Max has played a ton. He was pretty good at the quarterback sneak. He got better at that. We'll get better at that when we continue to develop Drake in it. But those are things you have to get better at by doing it.
Yeah.
You remember USC, we did it a lot just to get the yard. And then they said we weren't in, and then they said we were in. So
that was your you right in that ref's face saying you loved him.
I did love him.
Yeah, that was great.
Exactly what I said. And it's so funny. If you guys remember that USC game, and everybody thought I was yelling at the official. In fact, I was giving him a compliment. I said, I love you, right? Because I was so excited about the call.
You might have mixed one word in there.
Yeah, blank, But when you go back
Heather's
this year,
influence.
Yeah, that's the Italian in her. Yeah, I've learned that all from her. But we had the official, I know him very well, known him for years. We had the official here in one of the previous games, and he came up to me and he's like, hey, you remember me? I said, of course I remember you. He's like, hey, just so you know, for Christmas, my wife got the picture of you screaming at me and framed it and wrapped it. I'm like, I didn't know how to say thank you or like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
He's part of a meme, and most people think you're mad at the guy, right? When they see that meme, they think PJ Fleck's
99.999% of everybody thought I was just giving him the business, right? Where I was actually complimenting him.
Yeah.
And it's just somewhat ironic that for Christmas, that's the gift.
That's a beautiful gift. Yeah.
So I'm making an impact.
You're a contributor to everything. Everyone's rowing the boat now, right?
Yeah,
exactly. No doubt about it.
Not saying he gave us some calls. He did not.
Let's talk about Garzi. Anything left on Ohio State?
No.
Well, you know
who I want to talk about, everybody.
Well, you know who I want to talk about is your punter, in all honesty, and Tom Weston.
There you go.
Yes.
And not just because his family's here.
Tom Weston's mother is here. Yes,
22-hour flight.
His girlfriend's here as well. Our fabulous punter. Thank you for allowing him to come to America, and welcome to America. It's great to have you here.
That is a good point, JG.
This is what Minnesota's like all year round.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, they look freezing.
Yeah, they got sweatshirts on. They're cold.
But boy, the ball was bouncing off his foot.
He's incredibly talented, and we were just having a quick conversation over there. I mean, we got a lovely family and support. And he's a gracious kid. He's very empathetic. The kids love him. He's really, really intelligent, and he's fun to be around. He's got a great personality, but he's a really good punter. And the one thing we were talking about is, my job has been able to teach him football.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to punt, but there's so many situations that are involved in punting, or the punt team, and it's been really exciting to teach him the game. Sometimes I stand back, I'm like, I can't believe I just had to teach him that, right? That's the last, you don't really want to be teaching that in the middle of the season, but you got to keep educating him. Sometimes you forget, he didn't grow up playing football. I mean, it was
Australian rules, right?
Australian rules and rugby and all the other things that you play over there, and some cricket. So it's great. You got cricket and you got Australian rules and rugby, and then you got baseball here and football. Yeah. It's got to be very confusing for everybody. But he's done a great job. He's been not a pleasant surprise, but we needed him to come through and be a huge impact on our season and our team, and he has been. On the field and off the field.
And flipping the field, underrated, right? I mean,
underrated.
50 plus that's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, and you know what? He's so coachable, and it's so funny because I grabbed him at one of the punts he had. I think it was it was Rutgers, and they brought a shallow. They only had the returner at 35 yards. They were protecting against the fake, and then they'd run him back. And I was like, "Hey, I got something for you." He's like, "What?" I go, "Punt it farther." He kind of looked at me. I'm like, "What great coaching advice!" I said, "Punt it farther. See their returners up close. I just want you to drive it over his head." He looks at me like, "Yeah, that's a really good coaching point." Yeah. And then the next time he bombs it over the head, I'm like, "I'm a really good coach."
Unbelievable.
What great! It's like coaches when they say, "Catch the ball."
Yeah.
That is not coaching.
Yeah,
that's identifying. That's identifying something wrong. Just like I identified the ball being short. I was like, punt it farther.
Yeah.
I mean, I just punt it off your foot farther. Go.
No doubt, and I remember it because they were even 30 yards on a couple of those punts.
Yeah,
it was bizarre. Yeah, I thought the same thing. And Crawford's still around. Is he helping? I see him at practice some and on Fast Friday and some of that stuff.
He comes by the office here and there. Visits with our players and comes by here and there. So I think the players really enjoy him being around, just like a lot of our former players do. They come by, want to be around the team, want to be around, hanging out with our guys in the building, use the facilities. I think that's really, really important. So, he's such a special guy too. So I love having the Australians around.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
For sure. Yeah. It's great. Yeah. No doubt.
I don't know if he's allowed to go back home right now. I think he's trying to get a visa or something like that to go work. So
he's stuck here.
Well, I don't know if he's stuck here, but I think he's working on being able to get a job here, which is always challenging with when you're international.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Well, that gives us a good segue for after the break. We'll invite you all to stick around because we'll talk about some more of the former players, and you've got more than 200 coming back for this weekend. It's homecoming. We'll preview Purdue. Lots to talk about. So stay with us. It's Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck from Learfield.
Well, we did.
Welcome back. Mike Grimm along with Justin Gard and the head coach PJ Fleck. It's the Gopher Football Weekly show every week, noon until 1 live here on many of these Gopher Radio Network stations. Some air it later, so if you're listening to this later, thank you. We got a few things. We had Bill McCreevy Jr. up here. Good to see him in the house, and he was trying to get us to come to his next band's performance, which happens to be the night of the Nebraska game. So I think we're probably out.
I think there's another band playing that night. His name's Paul McCartney.
Yeah. And the
are you opening for McCartney?
Yeah, he's the opening act.
Got it. Okay.
And Jim Bruton, he's been coming to shows for as long as you can remember. It's his birthday today, so let's give him a round of applause as well. You've probably read many of his books over the years, and a longtime Gopher, of course. So lots to talk about. Homecoming is always important. You always talk about the football team's role in homecoming is to win the football game on Saturday, right?
Yeah, win the football game. Yeah, that's our main job. I always talk about it's not to decorate the gym or bring the streamers or spike the punch. Like we're not. That's not our job. Our job's to win the game. So our guys are working really hard. They had a great practice today. Got a really good mindset and the response mentality. Playing a really good Purdue football team. Do not look at their record because they've lost to truly 3 ranked teams when you look at it. They're really talented on offense, score a lot of points, aggressive style defense, and the specialists are playing at a high level. So we've got got our work cut out for us, that's for sure. And just really thankful for all the people coming back for homecoming this week. Really excited to see everyone. A lot of former players coming back too. So look forward to great atmosphere at Huntington Bank Stadium.
The importance of former players. You got over 200. I know you kind of started some of this. They're going to be lining the tunnel and just that engagement. You've always talked about, I think your term is something along the lines of bridging the future and the past and make it the present or something like that. You say it much more eloquently than
you nailed it.
Yeah, pretty close.
You just confused me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bridging the past, something like that.
Yes.
I see that in the indoor facility.
That's the banner that hangs
right next to Row the Boat.
I want you to put that up. I want you to have a banner that says something like that up.
No, we do want to be the bridge that connects the past to the future, and we're in the present right now, and these guys get to represent Minnesotan Golden Gophers no matter when you played, no matter where you played, no matter what position you played. All types of alum, whether you played sports or not, we get to represent you on a national stage for homecoming this week, and our players are very, very honored to do that, and don't take that lightly and take it very seriously. So you got over 200 players coming back, which, when we first got there, we did the same thing, and we had 40 players. And now we have over 200 from all different generations and different decades, and very excited to have those guys back on campus and be around our football program.
Well, for people that are coming to the game, like Grimmer said, they're going to be in the tunnel, and then that's about the time I go down as well. And you might get a 15-yard penalty for delay a game because those guys keep the yearbooks open, and they're like loitering in the end zone. They're all there taking pictures, and so for people watching, you'll see all of them in the tunnel, obviously, but they hang out down there. And, I had to yell at a couple. Ron Johnson, of course, he's loitering.
But he's taking actually selfies just of himself.
Exactly. Yes. He's not with any other teammates.
No, just Ron.
But I do think that's cool, though. It's like, all right, guys, it's time to go. This was awesome, but now we got to go play a game. But it's cool to just see all those guys down there really not wanting to leave because they're having a fun time.
You know what's great about it is we've got a lot of guys coming back that are playing in the NFL right now that did play in the NFL, but it's the guys that didn't play in the NFL. The guys that are owning their own business right now or working in a marketing job or a sales job or they're teachers or they're educators or they're in med school going to be a surgeon. It's so cool to get those guys back, and it's fun to watch them grow up. A lot of them have a family now. They have wife and kids, and you remember them when they were whatever number they were, right? And then now you start to watch them live their entire life and see how they've grown as a man. And I think that's always really special for a coach because we get paid to win, but I do the job because I love to teach and educate. That's why I do the job. And it's so fun to watch a lot of your players come back who are really like your sons. You come back and you're really, really proud of them, and it's fun to be around those guys.
And I know you stay in touch with all kinds of your former players, but you have to worry about the football game. So behind the scenes, how many people are working on making sure all these guys are in the right spot at the right time and get tickets and passes and whatever else they need? It isn't as simple as snapping your fingers, I would guess.
No, not at all. Whether it's our operations staff, our recruiting staff, our general manager, Garrett Chernoff, Chandler Bunning, our whole support staff is involved in that. So we also have recruits on the field, and we have recruits that we're meeting with prior to the game. So it's all hands on deck, I promise, and a lot of people doing a lot of hard work to make that all run really smoothly for all of you.
Anything else on homecoming, Grim?
No, move along.
I actually want to move back because we talked about to Ohio State after the first drive. No, we talked about the Darius Taylor pitch count, and it's kind of like a new phenomenon, I feel like, because the Vikings just did this with Christian Darrisaw. People were watching on Sunday, and all of a sudden Darrisaw's not playing. And everyone's like, what's going on? Nope, it was planned. He had a lot of snaps last week. Now we're going to take it easy. Is that a new phenomenon? I thought it used to be like you're good enough to play, you're going to go in there and play, but it seems like there's a lot more science behind, I guess, load management, for lack of a better term.
I think you hit it right on the head. I mean, we have way more science and data and medical information than we've ever had, whether that's with AI or whether that's with the technology that we have or the medical technology. So when you have the information, you're going to respond to that information. Because if not, it's just useless knowledge. If you're not using it to make it better and make it good and to take care of those players, then it's pointless. So we have all that stuff to take care of our players, get them back on the field, healthier, faster, maybe a little slower if the data says that. But I think that everybody's got a lot more data and a lot more technology to keep track of all that so you can make the best educated decisions moving forward. That is the health of all of our players, and that's the number one thing is the health and safety and well-being of our players mentally, physically, and emotionally. So we have way more data. we need to respond to that data. And I think you see that in the NFL, you see that in college football an awful lot.
So is it as simple as, because you mentioned the word workload on the catapult system, that when it's a certain number for a certain player, hey, they might be more susceptible to re-injuring or injuring or something like that? Or kind of take us through how those numbers, I know you're not the one collating the data, but you get the info. So how does that work where, let's just say with Darisaw, for example, it's like, well, we're going to give him a couple series off, or Darius has a certain number before we're probably going to pull back.
Yeah, I mean, I get told, I need it in layman's terms.
Yeah.
I needed somebody to explain the data and information to me, like how many plays? Like,
right.
give me a number, right? Because if not, they're like, hey, it's at a 350 to 450 load. And I'm like, okay, I have no idea what that means, right? You get paid to tell me what that means, right? Because I've got to adjust it into football terms of how long you can play them. We felt like we'd get 2 quarters out of Darius. So however that looked, we're talking probably, 6 to 8 plays per quarter. So when you look at it, 15, 16 plays maybe. That's kind of what we thought it would be on average. And so that's kind of what we felt like we could have with his load. I don't know what the Vikings philosophy is, but then you're also listening to the player, you're listening to the medical staff, you look up on the scoreboard, and once it was 28-3 and 35-3, it was like, all right, well, I'm glad we pulled him, because I probably would have pulled him by now anyway.
Right.
But it's it's one of those things you got to listen to the science and data, or why do you have it?
And Guardsy and you both mentioned the catapult system. Some probably know what that is, but it's pretty unique. We see it at practice. Do guys wear it in the game too?
They wear it in the game, yes.
Just explain a little what that is.
Yeah, I mean, it is and I don't want this word to get out, but it's a glorified medical tracking device in practice. Right? And you could wear this thing 24/7, and it gives you all types of data, whether it was sleep or how hard you're working, or your beats per minute, all these other things, right? And give you all this health, safety, and medical information. But we keep them on them during practice to monitor their workloads, their top speeds, their workloads versus a game, workloads in practice. And then we measure all of that and have running data throughout the entire year, every time they're doing something with physical activity, to know what to give them and when to pull back. And that's about as good as I can explain it. I mean, it's a glorified tracking device. It keeps track of everything that they do medically throughout the practice. And I think that gives you information to respond to when you're making practice plans, when you're adjusting certain things for training camp or the season. We have also data that comes out that says, hey, this guy's at risk of getting hurt. He could be what we call in the red, where the workload is getting really high, which then you have to respond to how many reps he's going to get the next day in practice, or maybe he had a big workload in the game, and you look at Sunday and you're going to hold him out of Sunday because the workload's so high. Every single player on our football team gets evaluated that way, and that's how you can create and do everything you can as a coach to keep people healthy and on the field as long as possible.
Well, Guards, you mentioned there's a bit of a trend there with different players, both college and NFL. Another trend, and it's not a trend that's just exploding, but you see it every now and then. We saw it this weekend. I know last week on this show when we were on campus, we talked about your rule of not reaching the football toward the end zone. This week in the NFL, we see a guy again slow up at about the 8 or 9 yard line, and at about the 2-inch line, thinking he's in the end zone. Why, I don't know. It's right in front of him, and he loses the ball, and it goes out of the end zone. And one of the first things I thought of is, I wonder if PJ Fleck has a drill to show his guys how to make sure you're in the end zone before you do anything like that. So you talk to your team about some of that stuff that happens, and I don't know.
You've known me 9 years.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think you probably have talked to your team about that.
Yeah, so we have a rule that you've got to run through the goal line, through the back line. If you're not being tackled in the end zone, you got to run all the way. You'll see our players run all the way out of the back of the end zone with the ball. That helps you avoid it.
Yeah.
Because if they're 2 yards short, at least they're 8 yards deep in the end zone, and we evaluate all of that. You even saw, Trevor Lawrence last night reaching the ball over on a quarterback sneak that cost him a touchdown. And there's so many that we showed that play that you're talking about from the Cardinals this morning.
Yeah,
and so there's so many games that are lost before they can even be won. And most games are lost, not won. And most games that are won are lost less than the other team lost it. So we're teaching our players how to go win games. And it's very difficult to do that because you got to be incredibly disciplined and you have to value the ball. And maybe you have to do things a little bit different than other people. But that's why when we do reach the ball, everybody sees a touchdown, everybody's cheering, and I'm furious, right? I am just furious because I know what could have been. As a head coach, you're always looking at worst case scenario, and then you're almost working always backwards. And that's how your life gets screwed up when you're a coach, because you're always looking worst case scenario. You go from being the most positive guy in the room to being a head coach. Now you're like Mr. Negativity always, because you're always looking at worst case scenario because you got to respond to that. So I think that is an issue. And I think a lot of people want to celebrate before they even get across the line. And we want our guys celebrating together, not individually. So it's unfortunate because it happens all the time.
It's
in college,
weird
in the NFL, it happens every single week.
And with you, and I think people know this by now, we've talked about it many times, your guys will never give up the ball unless it's to the referee or like in practice, managers will come and grab it and you move on to the next play. And that's true with touchdowns, I've noticed as well. I can't imagine a Gopher doing that, but you still have to, pound it in their head, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, the whole saying about the ball's a program in our culture. So if you're not emphasizing that and showing those things in practice and you're not doing something drastic to get that point across, then it's just another quote, another saying, right? So ball is the program. Our players take the ball from the chin position and hand the ball to a manager in practice. We stopped practice last week because somebody tossed the ball. Literally, from me to George, they just tossed the ball, and that's it. And we stopped practice, and you would have thought that somebody did something horrifically wrong. But you can't compromise that. Teams that compromise lose. You cannot compromise with yourself, nor can you compromise against the culture of what we're all teaching, including myself. So when you start to compromise, you start to fade, and things start getting to be a little lackadaisical. You can't create that as a CEO or as a head football coach or a business leader. You can't create that. It's okay. It's okay this time. It is or it isn't. And once it isn't, then you start to lose all the things that you've created over the years. So it's really important to us. And then when you see us in the game, our guys, are handing the ball to the official. And it just, again, it goes back to the balls of program, how important that really is.
I feel like the officials don't appreciate that as much as they should.
They sure don't.
I mean, you should be giving call because you watch other guys, balls are flying all over the place. They have to turn around, pick it up. Your guys
throwing it at them.
Yeah, it's just right in the pocket every time.
I have not gotten one thank you.
I was wondering if the ref ever come over. Usually that's what, an umpire and then the side or whatever.
Hey, we appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks for the effort.
Yeah, it's easy for us.
Sorry we missed the hold.
Yeah.
Sorry we picked up the flag.
Sorry, Jamison Gears was being molested and they didn't call a penalty on it. Or they did call a penalty and the other guy talked him out of it,
I take responsibility for sending us down this road.
The guy with the back turned?
Yeah, the guy that had no angle whatsoever.
Exactly. I didn't understand that one at all.
Yeah.
I was not... Anyway.
Just hand him the ball back better next time.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll work.
We must not be doing it enough. Maybe that's it. But no, I've never heard a thank you. I wonder why.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
it is
surprising.
All right,
I'm going to tell them that this week, though.
Yeah.
You guys don't appreciate us handing you the football enough.
Absolutely,
it saves them so many steps.
It really does. I'm going to actually use that.
Yeah, absolutely. Gargi, do you have to go find your parking spot?
I do.
All right. Well, it's been fun having you here for three-fourths of the show.
I'm sure it's been a blast.
We've got our fourth quarter coming up. Stay with us. It's Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck from Learfield.
Dear crew, it's Toyota. With an adult-sized third row, everyone's welcome in the Grand Highlander. From sports fans to eco-buffs and movie fans. Sink back in the Sienna with an available rear seat entertainment system. Slip into the RAV4 with available all-wheel drive. And let's go. Toyota. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
The game against Rutgers on September 27th recognized the 13th annual Celebrate Ag and Food Day at Huntington Bank Stadium. Both the game broadcast and the presentation inside the stadium celebrated the tireless efforts in the agriculture industry. Gopher fans, we can all be proud of the continued efforts, results, and the talented people that work in these industries to provide a sustainable food supply with so many changing variables. The Gophers would like to thank the presenting sponsors of this event: CHS, Compeer Financial, Undeniably Dairy, and Beck's.
Know what happy is? Veggies. Crunchy, crispy, colorful, seasonal, aromatic, juicy veggies. Produce at its freshest. Cub produce. Best produce, period. Guaranteed to make you happy or will replace it. No questions asked. Because good produce makes veggie lovers happy. Just remember, fresh, Happy. Stale, limp, and wilted? Not happy. You want to make a veggie lover happy? Shop Cub for produce and shop happy.
Visit the University of Minnesota Bookstore, your destination for the area's largest selection of U of M and Golden Gopher apparel, gifts, and novelties for fans of all ages. From the latest styles to timeless favorites, it's your one-stop shop for all things Gophers. And when you shop here, you're giving back because every purchase directly supports the University of Minnesota. Stop by our campus location or shop anytime online at bookstores.umn.edu. Go Gophers!
In High Pines, we want to invite you to visit the University of Minnesota Bookstore for the area's largest selection of U of M Gopher and Gopher apparel, that is, and gifts and novelties for fans of all ages, from the latest styles to timeless favorites. It's your one-stop shop, and every purchase directly supports the University of Minnesota. Shop in-store, on campus, or online at bookstores.umn.edu. We just gave away 2 $25 gift cards from the bookstore, one of the benefits of being here in person for the show. A couple of other quick notes, some house cleaning items. We want to thank Dan Robotham, our on-site engineer. Michael Tackett is our producer. Paul Rovnak and Gopher Sports Communications, and Garrett Chernoff and Chandler Bunning from Gopher Football. And one quick note, homecoming this weekend. The football game starts at 6:40. We'll take air at 4:30. Don't forget the Gopher Garden Party. That's the pregame fan fest at Huntington Bank Stadium, sponsored by Huntington Bank, located on Oak Street outside the stadium. Gopher Garden opens 3 hours before every home game, including this one. Catch the Gopher Football pregame show. Enjoy the Minnesota Marching Band and experience all the excitement. One other note, Nico Medved's team will have a maroon and gold scrimmage at Williams Arena leading up to the game. So if you're in the tailgate lots early at 2:30 at Williams Arena, Nico's team will have a little intra-squad scrimmage so you can get a sneak peek. Hey, they're
I was just texting with Nico.
Yeah.
Just texted with Nico just a second ago. So he's in the neighborhood.
Yeah, you guys are neighbors.
Yeah,
right?
Neighbors. And then, they have Big Ten Media Day, I think, tomorrow, right?
Yeah, they're off to Chicago. I think Thursday is maybe the day for that, and that's kind of fun. Come out, do some tailgating, go watch some basketball at 2:30. Players will be signing autographs after, and then across the street to the football stadium for Gopher football and homecoming. Exciting time too. It's a way for you all to get to know that new roster, and I know they're very excited about it. So I think we've covered everything on that. Let's also chat a little bit. You hit on Purdue about the fact that they have their 3 losses are all the teams that have been or are currently ranked. And in the Big Ten, that's not that uncommon that you play a bunch of good teams. They come in at 2-3 last week. You watch that game against Illinois. They fumbled a punt deep in their own territory. They had a 4th down deep in their own territory. And so Illinois had the benefit of a couple of short fields. So what do you see from the Boilermakers?
Well, first of all, they're really well coached. Coach Odom does a tremendous job. Been a head coach numerous places and has had success anywhere he's been. I got a lot of respect for him. Got a chance to be around him in the offseason, and tons of respect for him. He's a defensive-minded coach. Defense just plays incredibly aggressive. Offense, it all runs through their quarterback, number 16, the Brown kid, and he produces everywhere. I mean, he can beat you with his feet, his arm. He throws on the run really well. 45, their tailback. He's been around the league. You'll know when you see him. He's been around the league for a long time. He's got over 3,500 yards.
Will you be glad when he graduates?
I sure will be. Because
Maccabee
is so hard to bring down, and he's a really gifted tailback. I think he's one of the best tailbacks in the Big Ten. When you evaluate what he does, the contact balance, the broken tackles, the type of game he has, it kind of reminds you of a little Darius Taylor feel because he does so much in the pass game and the run game. They got 4 really explosive receivers. They run the ball really well, and defensively they're aggressive. So we're going to have to play our best game of the year that we've played up to this point. But I know our guys are up for the challenge, but it's going to be a really exciting game, that's for sure, and really, really good opponent.
Any good insight from Drew Bibber, who was with that program for a while?
They've got so much turnover over there, so
right,
not really. Yeah. No, I mean, but we're excited for Drew. And
he had a nice game last week.
He did. He's getting better
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he's getting better by the week. His role continues to get bigger and bigger, and just excited for him to have that opportunity.
Well, very good. He is your head coach. Give him a round of applause as he gets ready for homecoming this Saturday. As mentioned, it's a 6:40 kickoff and a 4:30 pregame. And one final reminder, you can get your Chick-fil-A app ready during this week's Gopher football. One lucky fan will attempt a field goal in the Kickin' for Chicken Challenge. Regardless of the kick, all Gopher fans win. Open your Chick-fil-A app next Monday to redeem your free item. That's it. We appreciate everyone for coming. Good to see a good crowd. And this has been Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck from Learfield.